What's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. All right, guys, today I have a list of 5 defenses. Now, 3 of them are going to be a must-start, and 2 of them are going to be defenses that I'm sitting this week. So, for the sake of today's video, I am not going to be including any of the obvious must-starts. Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco 49ers. We know that you're not sitting those defenses this week, right? So, those top 3 super obvious must-starts are not going to be included on this list. But I have 3 that you might or might not be considered starting that you absolutely have to start. One of them might be obvious, but I don't know. I didn't think it was, so I included it. Anyway, I'm going to start right here with the first one on my list, and that's the New England Patriots. Now, they're the defense number 19 right now, so you might consider – you might be thinking you don't want to play them. You have to play them this week against the Raiders. The Raiders have a terrible offense. They can't get the run game going because of a piss-poor offensive line and teams stacking the box because Jimmy Garoppolo can't throw the ball down the field. We all know this. This is a bottom-tier NFL quarterback. He's got one of the weakest arms in the league at the quarterback position, so he's just not a threat to get the ball downfield. This is increasing the number of defenders in the box. Josh Jacobs is getting creamed at the line of scrimmage because of this and because the offensive line sucks. This is a bad offense. They suck. They're one of the worst offenses in the NFL. And the New England Patriots are going to destroy them. This is a good defensive unit. Yes, they're the defense number 19 right now, but they've had a few tough matchups here. They are going to absolutely destroy the Vegas Raiders. You have to play the New England Patriots this week if you have access to them. Next on my list is going to be the Lions versus the Bucks. Now, the Lions are a top 10 defense in the NFL. I was actually criticizing them coming into the season because I didn't think their defense was going to be all that much better. It's significantly improved. I mean, it's just so much better than it was last year. They've been very good against the run game. The Bucks, they've been a surprise, a good surprise on the offensive side of the ball. Now, they're not that much of a surprise to me. I thought coming into the season that the Bucks were being slept on. So I had a good feeling that the offense was going to be better than expected. But against the Lions, I don't trust them. Look, Mike Evans is coming off that hamstring injury. He is healthy. He's ruled that, he's healthy, supposedly 100%, and he's going to play, right? I don't think he's necessarily 100% yet. I don't think he's going to be as explosive as he normally is, and they might not target him quite as much. That's still just speculation. He still might get 10 or 12 targets in this game, right? But will he be as explosive as he normally is? I don't think so. I don't think this Bucs offense is going to be able to move the ball against the Lions. They've shown to be inefficient as far as their run game, and now they're facing a team that went from one of the worst run defenses in the league to one of the better run defenses in the league in this early season. So the Lions' run defense is significantly improved. I don't think they're going to be able to get Rachaad White going. No run game means teams are just going to focus in on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Now, these guys are going to make plays. They're great wide receivers, but with the only real threat in the offense being Mike Evans and Chris Godwin this week, and Mike Evans fresh off a hamstring injury that he seems to re-aggravate like every single season, I just don't trust this offense to be good this week at all. This is a smash matchup. If you have the Lions defense, you absolutely have to play them against the Bucs. Next on my list is going to be the Ravens versus the Titans. Now, this might be an obvious one, but it was kind of on the line between being one of those top super obvious must starts and being a defense that I actually need to talk about. The Ravens are the number 5 defense in fantasy right now. They've been very, very good. They've been a slight disappointment as far as just their overall team because their offense hasn't been as good as expected, but the defense has held their own. They've been very good. They're a top 5 defense. And they're playing up against the Titans. I mean, the Titans, you're going to want to play almost any defense that's going up against the Titans, right? I mean, they can't move the ball, right? The offensive line is bad. They added DeAndre Hopkins, but the offense still can't get anything going because they have a terrible offensive line. Derrick Henry he's old, right? And he's used up. Now, he's still explosive. He's still a good running back, but he might be a little bit slower than he used to be. And this offense just isn't good. They have one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL in Ryan Tannehill, especially for fantasy purposes. I mean, Ryan Tannehill is not a good NFL quarterback, and the offensive line sucks. This team cannot move the ball. The Ravens are going to be blitzing this game. They're going to be going all out. They're going to be sacking the quarterback. They're going to be forcing fumbles, forcing turnovers. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Ravens defense was the highest scoring defense on the entire slate this week. They're going to absolutely explode. I legitimately think the Ravens will get you 20-plus points at your defensive position this week. They need to be a locked-in start at your defense this week, especially against the Titans. Now, I'm going to talk about 2 defenses that I'm going to be sitting. Now, the first one is the Cowboys, and I want you to use your discretion on this because, look, the Dallas Cowboys, they are the number 1 defense in fantasy right now. So I can't really in good conscience tell you to just sit them because they're the number 1 defense in fantasy, but keep this in mind. The 3 weeks where they absolutely exploded, they played the New York Giants in week 1 in rainy conditions. They played the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. These are 3 of the worst offenses in the NFL. And so, yes, they had great weeks against those offenses, but those offenses are a good. They don't ever do well. They suck, right? And then against Arizona and San Francisco, they got you negative points. So, did San Francisco expose the Dallas defense? I don't necessarily think so. I think that's an overreaction, but they did show some vulnerability, right? So they might not be as good as we think they are for fantasy purposes. Now, I still think they're going to be a top 3 overall defense this year in fantasy by the time it's all said and done, but I do not like them in this matchup. They're playing up against the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers have Austin Eckler back. They've been an explosive offense, even with Austin Eckler being off the field. Now they got back who might very well be their best offensive weapon in Eckler. So Keenan Allen, Eckler, they still have Quentin Johnson. Obviously, Mike Williams being hurt will make the offense a little bit less efficient, but they can run through Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. So that being said, I just like the Chargers offense too much to really play any defense against them, even the Dallas Cowboys. There's almost no defense that I'm going to play against the LA Chargers, and this game has serious shootout potential. So I am going to be sitting the Dallas Cowboys this week personally. But if you want to play them because they're the number 1 defense in fantasy, I understand that. Use your own discretion. If you feel like you have to start the Cowboys defense because they're the number 1 defense in fantasy, go ahead and start them. Me personally, I'm not playing them against the Chargers. Next on my list is the Cleveland Browns against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I am not going to be playing any defense that goes against the San Francisco 49ers, right? If the Cowboys look that bad against the 49ers, what defense are you confident to play against San Francisco? Nobody, right? You're not starting any defense against this team, even the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns have been a good defense this year. They've gotten you at least 6 points every single week. Before going into the bye week, they were a top 10 defense. The only reason that they're 15th right now is because they had a bye week this past week, so they weren't able to get any points. But the Cleveland Browns defense is very, very good. One of the best defenses in the NFL. But you're not starting anyone against San Francisco. Their offensive line's too good. They have way too many weapons. We know how loaded this team is with weapons with George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, this offense is absolutely loaded. Great offensive line. Brock Purdy's been playing out of his mind. Is he really that good of an NFL quarterback? I'm starting to think so. I'm starting to think that Brock Purdy is just a good NFL quarterback. At first, I wasn't giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm starting to think more and more that this guy's just a good quarterback. And regardless, this offense moves the ball at will against anybody. You are not playing the Cleveland Browns this week. I know that they're a very good defense. You might have drafted them with high hopes, and do not drop them off your roster because I still think they're going to be very, very good. But this week, even though you might have to have a defense on your bench and a defense in your starting position, because I don't want you dropping the Browns, and I usually don't recommend that, but this week, I think it's the best idea to go ahead and put your Browns defense on your bench, pick up a different defense off the waiver wire. Ideally, one of these top 3 that I want you to start in, in this list here. The the Patriots, the Lions, the Ravens. These are the defenses you're going to want to replace. Your defenses that don't have good matchups this week. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning into the video, and I'll catch you later.